radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network.
All right. Good evening. How you doing? Fade to Black. That's right. Today's Wednesday, October 1st, 2025. Let's do this, man. I am your host, Jimmy Church. You know, we roll into October. Today is October 1st. And I know all of you do the same thing. This is my birthday month. And so when you roll into your birthday month, right, and it gets to May 1st and your birthday is May 10th, you're excited, right? You know, you're a week out, right, from a good time. And that's where we are, man. It's October and my birthday is in October, but fall, everything is right around the corner, Halloween. Oh man, follow that. You know, it's just like Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. For me, it just all starts right now, October 1st. Man, so cool. All right. So yes, today is Wednesday, October 1st, and very excited. Great week on Fade to Black, and always a great week around here. Monday, we were off air. It was a travel day, a recovery day. From San Diego, great conference down there with a hiccup. But last night, Dana Kipple was with us. Plasma is intelligent. What a great conversation that was last night. Tonight, I've been looking forward to this for a long time. We have BMR on the show tonight. Bigfoot Michigan Rob is with us. So it's all Bigfoot, big feet all night long. And then tomorrow night, Adam Apollo joins us. He is back. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about so much stuff with Adam, dear friend of mine, very close, but we talk a lot and his stuff is so good. And I always look forward to when we have Adam on the show. So that is tomorrow night. We will close out the week tomorrow's my Friday. Yeah. October 2nd, getting closer. All right. Now, as promised, I've got another event that is now on the schedule for 2026. I've got a couple of more. I'm trying to, this is the deal. I can't say yes to everything. Most of these conferences are just absolutely great. I can't say yes to everything because I have a shooting schedule that I have to work around with beyond belief. Okay, but I got another one in. So I do have 7 events coming up in 2026. First up is, of course, the Conscious Life Expo. That is February 20th through the 23rd, 2026 at the LAX Hilton. I've been hosting this event for 13 years now, and this year is going to be amazing. Just added the Sedona Ascension Retreat, and this is March 20th through the 22nd, 2026 in Sedona, Arizona. An amazing list of presenters so far with the addition of a few more. But we've got Caroline Corey, we've got William Henry, we've got Chris Bledsoe, and another 20 speakers. And it's going to be amazing. So I'll see everybody out there in Sedona. The links for that are now below. After that is the Contact Modalities Expo, heading back to the Midwest, May 1st through the 3rd. 2026 in Delavan, Wisconsin at the Delavan Lake Resort. After that, Contact in the Desert, May 28th through June 1st, 2026. Tickets on sale this Thanksgiving Day. After that, I head to Peru for the Inca Celebration of the Sun, June 23rd through July 1st, 2026. I can't wait for that with Brian Forrester. After that, I come back and head over to Scotland for the Monty Python Tour of Scotland, August 1st through the 9th, 2026. Come back from that, head back to Peru and Easter Island in November 26th, again with Brian Forrester. I do have another event that I'm going to say is 99.9%. All right. We're just putting all of this together. But going back to Egypt in 2027 with Sarah Breskman Cosme. And this will be for the eclipse. How crazy is this? The totality will be centered over Luxor. We will be in Luxor for the totality in 2027. Holy crap. So we're just fine tuning and putting the screws down on this. The dates and everything are locked in. And I will get back to all of you. That's going to sell out very, very, very quickly, which is why we are starting to make the announcements about this now. I will have everything finalized hopefully by the end of the weekend, and we will make those announcements. Okay, so how cool is that, kids? All right. Where am I? Oh. So tonight we have BMR, Bigfoot Michigan Rob, on the show. Talking to Rob. We were supposed to be doing a sound check. Instead, we were talking about our childhood and Michigan and our love for Michigan. And it got me thinking. So I ordered a pizza from a pizza place that I'm going to have after the show tonight. It's going to be ready for me to pick up immediately after the show. They don't deliver. But they have on the menu there, it is called the Detroit Red Stripe. And it is a square deep dish pizza with all the meats, by the way. And it's amazing. It's gourmet. But they call it Red Stripe because they have red pizza sauce, red pizza sauce. Is there another color? In stripes across the top. And when you bite into that, you get into the stripe and you bite. Words cannot describe the euphoria, the bliss, the zen that occurs when you do that. And it's Rob's fault. So that's what I'm doing tonight. The Detroit Red Stripe in celebration of tonight's show, because he is here, Bigfoot Michigan Rob. And he's got his books, Bigfoot Michigan Rob Presents, the Cryptid Encounters, and of course, his show, his YouTube channel. We're going to be talking about his childhood, the experiences of Bigfoot there in Michigan, specifically Cadillac. We're going to get into that. And Dogman. Yeah, UFOs, abductions. We're going to do everything tonight because Bigfoot Michigan Rob is here. His links are below, and I would like to welcome for the first time to Faded Black, BMR. There he is. How you doing, man?
Hey, Jimmy, thanks so much. And yes, the Detroit deep dish is fabulous. Let me know how this one that you got from Los Angeles is, you know.
You know what they have here? I think they have, I've seen them at Walmart. I bought them. Yeah. They have in the frozen foods, they have a Detroit, that's what it's called, Detroit Pizza Company. Deep dish pizza.
Yeah.
And it's as close as I can get, you know, now we have this really nice gourmet restaurant, pizza place up the street. It's called Slice, and it's amazing. But yeah, so I'm going over the menu, and they have all this stuff. They have one called the Little Italy, and they have the Detroit Red Stripe. Oh, I'm in.
When you said Detroit Red Stripe, I thought a little Jamaican hint was involved with that, you know, with the red stripe.
Oh, yeah, red stripe.
Yeah. I owned a bar for 13 years as well, and we did a Detroit style deep dish. One of my cooks did a fantastic job, and people came in at lunchtime and just ate it up.
You know, before we get started on the show tonight, holy crap. You get the first time guest disclaimer. What, you thought I was going to skip over that, Rob? Okay. So, Rob, it's just you and I sitting on my couch having a conversation as friends. And where that conversation starts, it starts. Where it ends, it ends. But we're going to end as friends. Okay. You have to accept. You know that.
I accept.
Okay, good. What is it let me tell you this. I'm so glad that you're on the show. This is where I'm going to state fact. LA has crap food, crap restaurants, everything. I don't know if it's the water or it's, and it's we don't have. When I go back to the Midwest, I cannot wait. It doesn't matter where you go. You're always going to get a good breakfast. You're always going to get a great sandwich. You're going to find, the Midwest has real food. Is it because of my upbringing and what I love? Or am I just stating fact?
The Midwest, man, has got the best breakfast food, I've got to say. There's this slop and dine called Dimitri's outside of where I live, which it doesn't matter what you get on the menu. It's just fantastic.
Right.
Mouth-watering. It's a dump,
Right.
the tables and chairs wobble, and the waitresses are very friendly, and you get your order, they give you all this food and you enjoy it. And I got to tell you, the coffee is fantastic.
That's what I'm saying. That doesn't exist in LA. It really, maybe I need to open up and just call it the Midwest Diner, right? And pull in everybody and make them happy. You know what? I'm telling you, this is a fact. I'm going to blow your mind. In Los Angeles County, you cannot buy at any restaurant sausage, gravy, and biscuits. Doesn't on any menu.
Man,
how is that even legal?
That's not legal. That's sacrilegious.
It's crazy.
And really briefly on the Midwest, I just finished up my group. We put on a conference just outside of St. Louis, Midwest, and we found this slop and dine for breakfast in the morning.
Slop and dine.
Yeah, greasy spoon. Everyone says that. I say I like slop and dine. We go in this place, Jimmy. Biscuits and gravy were on the menu. I ate there. I was there for a week because I did a lot of outside the conference. We did some ghost investigations and we went in the woods. So I took the whole week off. I just got back last Monday. And so we go in this place. Now it was kind of a creepy name, Daddy's 13.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're like, okay.
All right.
Go in this place. And I must tell you, there's nothing over $12 on the menu. Right. And the first day in there, I get just your omelet, sausage, bacon, and eggs. And they brought out something that was a foot long, 3 inches deep. I could only eat a quarter of it, and it was superb.
Oh man, see, I just don't. I have to cook at home. All those things that I just hold near and dear to my heart. And okay, here's something else you can't get in LA, and I know it's so basic. All right, are you ready?
Yeah.
In Los Angeles, you don't have those red plastic cups and Coke in a pitcher. And so, I know it's so basic. But when I was growing up, all of us from the Midwest, that was a rite of that was every restaurant, right? That plastic red and white tablecloth, right?
Yeah, right.
A pitcher of Coke with ice in it, and those red plastic cups.
Oh yeah, the silo cups.
Yeah. You know, right, right. That dinner is served. We don't have that out here.
Oh man,
I just don't get it. Okay, now here's the other thing. We're going to be talking about Michigan tonight and your experiences out there. I kind of want to start here because we were talking before the show. And I grew up in and around Michigan. My family's from Michigan. All the things that you do as a kid, the station wagon, going to grandma's house for Thanksgiving and Christmas and all of that stuff. That's what we did in Michigan. We were talking about Lake Tipsico earlier. Yeah. That's my childhood. Fenton. Right. I couldn't believe you brought up Fenton. And so it's just like, wow. But Michigan, we know about Detroit, we know about Kalamazoo and Ann Arbor and a few other cities, Lansing, but the Michigan is rural.
Yeah.
And most people don't know how hilly and forest covered and wooded and remote most of the state is. And if you are anything that wants to hide, Michigan has got it in spades, doesn't it? So when we're talking about Bigfoot or anything else, Michigan is a great place to hang out, isn't it?
It's a fabulous place to hang out for the nature, for the forest. Now, where I live, I got to probably drive 2.5 miles, 2.5 hours, 3 hours north. Once you get outside of Flint, it just opens up, and it's just a vast, beautiful rolling hills, forests, and everything. And if you are a cryptid creature, a Bigfoot or what have you, oh, Jimmy, it is. You can hide. A human being can disappear there if they do not want to be found. And especially the further north you get, you know, and then taking that a step further, if you go over the Mackinac Bridge, that's wilderness, man. That is a place where you can get lost in an instance, in a lot of undeveloped, uncharted areas still. And I got to tell you, yeah, that's a great hideout for anything. Now, my experience that I had was not in the Upper Peninsula. Needless to say, though, across the northern part of the state, if you're into research or into nature or into anything, and including paranormal and ghosts, because along the coastlines, I always say the coastlines. No, I'm not in California or Florida. Lake Michigan on the west, Superior to the north, and then you got Huron to the east. We're like a huge island. And along these, I'm very much into shipwrecks and these haunted locations, especially like lighthouses. There's just a lot of history. And the Manistee National Forest happens to be one of the most creepiest sections, parts of Michigan that you could ever go through. There's talked about First Nations putting hexes and spells on the folks, which is, by the way, where my encounter first took place. And just a lot of history. I'm a big history buff, and there's a lot of things that, unless you take a deep dive into it, Jimmy, you wouldn't know it all existed back decades ago, centuries ago.
Do you remember the UFO flap there on Lake Michigan on the
1994?
Great. Out of the, how do I say this? Out of the big cases and the interesting cases in ufology, that flap of 1994 and who was involved with that flap is one of the craziest, gnarliest, and most documented UFO cases of all time.
The thing that blew my mind about that was the call in to the station. There was like 360 reports instantly, and how the blips on the radar. I forgot the guy's name who was
the radar operator.
Yeah. And it was almost like, there were reports.
Oh, like, no, he was a meteorologist. He worked for the National Weather Service.
Yeah.
Right.
And the thing that blew my mind the most was how, and this is the thing about, Lake Michigan is the Michigan Triangle. And during this time of the year, most of Lake Michigan, there was some ice. The Great Lakes do not freeze over. There's ice chunks perhaps floating about, but it's still it's not as solid as you might think. And do you remember in that how all of a sudden all those blips on the radar, it seemed like they formed one big armada, if you want to call it, and that it just plummeted, not upward, but down into Lake Michigan and disappeared.
Yeah. And so we had the trifecta with that case. We had the radar, the meteorologists, we had the law enforcement, and we had the civilian sightings on the coast going into the local towns that were there on the coast. So you had the physical sightings, and then you had the radar, and then you had law enforcement. It all was happening at the same time. And tonight we're talking about Bigfoot. But the reason why I'm bringing this up is... tonight we're talking about Bigfoot, but Michigan has had its share of just about everything, including one of the biggest UFO cases in history that happened right there in 1994.
We certainly have. And, I know we're talking Bigfoot, and the way my entire life started wasn't even with Bigfoot, but I got to tell you this was a story. I was maybe 7 or 8 years old, and so me and my brother were, getting ready for school. Not quite, though. We're sleeping, but my mother, Robbie, Davey, get out of bed. And me and my brother know damn well we got another 30 minutes because us kids are not getting up until we need to get up, right?
Right.
And she takes us to the back of the house in the kitchen, and we're looking out the bay window. And goes, look at this out. Look, take a look. And I look out the window. And what appeared to me as a young kid, I was a big fan of Lost in Space, one of my favorite shows growing up. And I swear this thing looked like the flying saucer, as we all called it back in the day. It looked like that darn flying saucer from Lost in Space. And me and my brother see this, and I don't know how high up in the air it was. It was maybe 1,000 feet or something, but it seemed sizable, and it was just hovering. Me and my brother run out the back door into the yard, and we're looking at this. My mom follows close behind, and we're just kind of looking at this thing fluttering. And again, Jimmy, it looked like a saucer. It looked like, Lost in Space. And then all of a sudden, and we're thinking, as a kid, I don't know what I'm thinking. I'm just, wow, what a phenomena. And then it just jettisoned, boom.
Really?
Up into the sky, was gone. My mom's all kind of excited. Me and my brother all like, happy, running around. UFO, Lost in Space. My mom gets on the phone to call my father at work. Now, back in the day, no cell phones. And he worked for Chrysler in Detroit. And you don't call your husband off the floor to the plant unless it's a family emergency. So she calls my dad, gets on the phone. What's going on? What's going on with the kids? You okay? I got to tell you what I just saw, Bob. What? A UFO, flying saucer, however she coined it. You called me off for this, click. I can get in trouble for this. So anyways, we get off to school. We get home. Then I get picked up from school. So we're at dinner. My dad's sitting around. My mom's telling a story, and me and my brother are telling my dad, "Yeah, Dad, we saw a UFO, flying saucer." I'm sure it was the verbiage back then. So we go off to do our homework in our bedrooms, and also my mom says, "Robbie, Davey, get out here." Jimmy, on the news, it was like a 15 or 20-second clip. People called into the newsroom. At least 200 people claiming of seeing some weird thing in the sky that vanished, and they were calling it a flying saucer. And my dad his jaw drops. Oh my God, really? Now, of course, they made fun of it from what I recall, this, that, and the other. But I got to tell you, that was something documented. And wow.
What year was that? How old were you?
I was in the fifth. I was 5 years old. I was born in 1967, maybe 1972.
Okay.
I was in kindergarten or first grade. But yeah.
I'm a little jealous of, I've done so many shows and so many interviews.
Yeah.
I had an interest in it, but I didn't really have an experience, and I don't remember seeing it. The only thing that I recall, which wasn't in Michigan, it was in Chicago and Waukegan, was when I saw the Hindenburg. And and I drew it, and I say the Hindenburg, it looked like, it was a rigid airship, whatever it was. But I ended up drawing the Hindenburg, but that was it. And so I don't know if that was some kind of time slip or anything, but I didn't have that. I'm a little jealous of people that have had, not growing up as an adult, I've seen everything. I've had but I never had it when I was a kid. I would have really enjoyed it.
Again, going back then, was it a UFO? We don't know, but it was something. I've never seen that in my life, never seen it since. It made the news, so they thought it was newsworthy, I imagine, but that really was such an experience, and nothing I'll ever forget that.
So let's talk about Cadillac for a second. And Cadillac, I know Michigan pretty well. I know, most of the cities and towns. I know where Cadillac is. Probably have been there.
Yeah.
But Cadillac isn't on the coast. Cadillac is central Michigan. What happened there, and what year was this?
This was in 2018.
Okay.
The story goes, the encounter. I always say story, Jimmy. People say, Rob, why do you always say story? It sounds contrived. It's an encounter, but it's a story at the same time. People give me flack for that. And I'm like, it's an encounter story. Hence why I made the books, True Cryptid Encounters. Okay, you satisfied?
Right.
But anyway, you get it. So Cadillac, Michigan, and there's two dates I'll never forget in my life, man. In June 15th of 2018 and August 15th of 2018, summertime, obviously. So I was dating this girl named Cindy at the time. And I have to preference this before I continue with the story. I owned a bar at the time, and her mother did not like me. I was, quote unquote, the demon incarnate because I peddled libations.
Nice.
And so she did not like me. A very staunch Italian, 100% Catholic, but overboard, right? Blah, blah, blah. Never spoke to the woman. In fact, my girlfriend did not even live with me. She lived with her mom, right? She got off of a divorce or something. I'm in my 40s, whatever it was. So anyway, back to the story. June 15, 2018, I tell Cindy a week earlier, I said, hey, honey, listen, I got a surprise. We're going to Lake Cadillac. We're going to do a little fishing, and we're just going to hang out. She goes, fishing? I go, honey, we've been dating for almost 2 years. I'm an outdoorsy type of guy. I love to fish. I'm not much of a hunter. I said, however, there's quaint shops. We can do everything you'd like to do, but let's just go. Fine. A buddy of mine was in the real estate business, and he had his cottage for sale, and he said, hey, Rob, you can spend the weekend there. So that was a free gig. I said, thank you so much. And he also had a little skiff fishing boat. And let me tell you something. I would not step a foot in that thing today. It's just good enough, to tool around the lake. It's sat maybe 8 inches out of the water. And Cadillac is not a small lake. It's sizable.
No, it's a pretty good sized lake.
Yeah. So we get there in the morning. It's on a Wednesday, I believe, middle of the week, no holidays. Everyone's at work. So of course, I want to get up at 6 in the morning. Didn't happen. 10 in the morning around the lake. And so we're traversing about Cadillac, and very pretty. A multitude of different homes, mansions to average homes, a lot of small little businesses, but very nice. And this is in Wexford County, Michigan, which is important. And it's also backs up to the Manistee National Forest, which I made mention a little bit earlier. I believe I did. So very beautiful. So we're on Lake Cadillac. We're doing some fishing, and nothing is happening. Cindy's getting bored. I can tell after an hour in. Frankly, I'm getting bored. And I do have to paint the picture of this day because it's very important. Bright blue sky, no clouds, beating sun, the glistening forest, emerald green, beautiful surroundings. So I said, let's do a little adventure. So we take this little skiff, and we're going about Lake Cadillac, and we come across toward the west, and there's this canal. Now we venture through this canal, and it connects to the adjacent lake called Lake Mitchell, another very sizable lake, less built up, less homes. I think I remember seeing a park, but man, Jimmy, the backdrop of the forest, Manistee National Forest, is beautiful. I'm like, I can dig this. Cindy's like, yeah, this is cool. So
yeah, I want everybody to understand really quick. Two different situations, because Cadillac in the town surrounds Lake Cadillac.
Yes.
And Cadillac Lake Cadillac. I can't remember how.
Yeah.
Is it Lake Cadillac?
Lake Cadillac. Yeah.
Yeah. And so very nice area. The lake is surrounded by homes. Everybody's got a dock. Everybody's got a boat. And that's Cadillac. But when you go through that canal that is there, and over to, so you have, here's Cadillac Lake, and then Mitchell, which is like twice the size of Cadillac Lake. Yeah. But Mitchell is all forest. There's no town. There's nothing. Yes. Right. So when you go through the canal, when you go through the canal, you go from civilization that is behind you into a lake, a bigger, huge lake, but surrounded by forest.
Correct. Absolutely. I couldn't have said it better myself, Jimmy. Thanks. That's exactly it. So we're traversing about on the boat, and then I'm like 90 feet from the shoreline. So we continue down toward like this southwest corner, which kind of turns into a little bay, very, again, remote. And again, everybody listening, nobody's on the water. It's the middle of the work week, no holiday. So I had a little Minn Kota, I think, troll motor on the back. I put in a little troll speed, 90 feet, slow it down. So I'm sitting down, and I said, Cindy, I'm just going to let this kind of drift along shore. And I go to change the tackle, the rods and the reels, for better luck, whatever. So I'm down doing my thing, looking down, I'm maneuvering the lures. And Cindy is beside me, and she says to me, hey, Rob. I go, yes. I think somebody's throwing rocks at the boat. I go, what do you mean rocks? She goes, yeah, not very big, but, they're sizable. I can't hear nothing. I'm concentrating, and I look to the shoreline. And when you go to the shoreline, Jimmy, and everyone listening, the forest drops into the lake. There's some openings where maybe a couple people could stand, but there's nobody there. Cindy, okay, whatever. I go back doing my thing. A minute goes by. Rob, more emphatically, someone's throwing rocks at the boat. I look, I don't see anybody. She goes, yeah, one skipped in front of us. I think someone's tossing rocks. I said, hey, hang on. I said, you know what? Okay. I'm almost done doing my deal with the fishing lines. I'll join you, and together you and I will observe the shoreline. Whatever, she says. I'm doing my thing. Then, for whatever the reason, now, and Cindy's kind of standing up on the boat as well. Not a big woman, 5 foot 109 pounds. And I just, for whatever reason, Jimmy, I look up and I see this object falling from the sky. As I said earlier, bright blue sky, and this is an object, and I'm looking, what the heck? And it plops 4.5, 5 feet in front of us. And this rock, though, is a rock the size of a baseball. Kerplunk.
Oh, hello.
And I'm like, yeah. And so now I feel like, oh boy, I'm going to tell Cindy, oh, sorry, honey, I think you might be right. So I'm looking at Cindy to my right, man. She had we're June 15th. Cindy was a sun goddess, head to toe, ripping tan already. One of those, right?
Right.
Her body, her skin tone, her complexion is almost drained of the color. And I'm looking at her from the profile, and she's dead set on the shoreline. I go, what the? I look up. Standing there. Now, everybody, remember, 90 feet, we're very close. It's like first to second base in baseball, right?
Right.
And I see this creature, I'm going to call it, at the beginning, standing there. It had to be 8.5, 9 feet tall, reddish brown, brilliant coat of hair, head to toe. massive, wide girth, 3.5, 4 feet wide, robust. And I'm looking in on this thing, and the face, Jimmy, I swear it was like human. It was gray and disheveled, and it looked like to me that it maybe went through a battle. It looked like it had a stroke because I can see these opaque eyes that are offset. The one side of the face was kind of drooping, kind of reminded me of an older person, and this looked like an older person, wrinkled gray skin. It looked like he had a stroke of some sort, very human looking. And I forgot to mention gray face, gray chest, beautiful coat of long reddish brown hair. I'm looking at
he's looking at you.
He sees us. He's looking dead out at me, she and I. And I'm looking at this. I can't get my eyes off of this. Then all of a sudden, I think I'm saying I got to get a little closer. But really, I don't know what I'm even thinking because I'm scared, but I'm not because it looked kind of docile, man. But then all of a sudden, though, it takes.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What that's docile.
What I mean, Jimmy, is he looked like he was just kind of in a daze. He didn't have a threatening look. He
wasn't pissed off.
No, right, he was just kind of. However, within a matter of seconds, this thing drops its head and his shoulders come crunching up where the head is like beneath the shoulders, and it kind of leans back. And now, as I mentioned that face, he opens his mouth, and Jimmy, I have a friend named Jim, so Jimmy, and the jaw descends down 3 to 4 inches, opens his mouth, and when in that gray skin, that wrinkled skin, got very tight, wrinkle-free, almost like a purplish color. Those opaque eyes roll back black. And as this gaping mouth is open, which you could fit a softball in, emanates this robust roar, growl, and scream, all in unison, man. And it's directed at me and Cindy. And I can feel this reverberation pound me. Cindy, as I explained, 5'1", 190, she gets flipped off the boat, man. Again, a very small craft. All of a sudden, I know I got to get her, but I'm enthralled. Now, this creature morphs into almost something demonic looking, man.
Right.
It looked creepy as all get out.
So you've got a decision to make. Save your girlfriend or absorb this Bigfoot encounter.
Yes.
I got to say, coin toss. Coin toss. That's a coin toss.
Well, here's the thing about
life preserver on. Life preserver?
No, she's in her, she's, looking all sexy.
Right.
So.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So, but here's the thing that coin, as you just eloquently put, it did not have a head or a tail, because what happens next, I decide to make the decision to get her, but dude, I can't move. I'm paralyzed. I cannot move to my right at all. And the crazy thing, as I explained earlier, the beautiful color, the emerald forest, this creature's red coat, the blue sky, the sun ripping, everything. It's like I'm looking through a filter now. Grainy. The color was vanished. It was like almost a black and white look. It feels like time stood still. I can't move. It seems like this is lasting hours. It's probably only 20 seconds. And I'm thinking in my head, Rob, man, you got to snap out of this. And this roar is just penetrating. And I kind of attempt to shake my head to snap out of it. Then I did. Regained cognizance. Colors came back. I rushed over to Cindy. And she's already halfway up into the boat and stuff. She knew how to swim. I got her in. I looked to that shoreline. And I got to tell you, as creepy and scary as that was, I was really petrified that this thing is gone now. And I'm like, I got to get the hell out of Dodge because I do not know if it swims, if it's walking on the bottom. I don't know what's going on. It's gone. And that really creeped me out. I take that little crappy boat around with that little Minn Kota 25 horsepower, whatever it was. And I jettison, man, across Cadillac through the canal, get all the way to where I launched the boat. Launch it, I get out, I immediately look for a place to go walk to because we're not sitting in that boat. I'm drying off Cindy. She's freezing, and it's 83 degrees, 85 degrees. She's as cold as ice. I walk up this hill, and I see this bar restaurant on the corner, maybe a half a block up. I said, let's get in this place. Let's just go in there. She goes, yeah. Get in this place. And again, as I explained to her, it's middle of the day. No one hardly in there. To the right, there was a guy and a gal, I think, on the end of the bar. And I look to the left, and there's a bunch of booths empty. I go to the far back corner of this bar restaurant. Waitress comes up. Now, Cindy and I are sitting there across from each other. We're not speaking. We're not saying a thing to each other. We're just kind of in shock and trying to put two and two together. What just happened here? Barmaid comes up. What y'all having? Cindy, who has been to my bar plenty of times, I dated her for close to 2 years, never seen her drink ever, but not a drinker. She orders a bottle of Bud Light.
Hey, Rob, let me just jump in. You're tapping on your desk and it's reverberating through the microphone. Okay. Go. Don't stop. So barmaid comes up. Cindy, not a drinker, orders a bottle of Bud Light and a shot of Jack Daniels. I look at her like, yeah, man, she's on. Yeah. And the waitress looks at me, of course. I go, yeah, I'll have the same, make mine a double. So she goes, takes her drink order. Now, Cindy and I still do not speak. We're kind of looking at each other just looking at each other, Wait for the drinks, I guess. Barmaid arrives. She takes that shot of Jack Jimmy. She throws it back like she's a professional drinker. Guns that bottle of Bud Light. I do the same. Then she says to me, Robbie, what do you think that was? I said, honey, I don't know what that was. I have my thoughts. Because prior to all this, I kind of knew about Bigfoot. I saw Leonard Nimoy, blah, 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 but I never was big time into it. In search of the Patty film. I knew about that. I said, I don't know. What do you think that was? And then she says, and she and I dating, never talked about anything paranormal, anything cryptid. She goes, I think maybe it was that Bigfoot creature. I go, perhaps it was. I just don't know. And then she says to me, should we contact the sheriff, the police, the authorities, the DNR? And I'm like, no. And what are we going to tell them exactly? She goes, yeah, I guess you're right. So the weekend was shot, man. I think we spent another 8 hours and we headed home. Now we head home and we immerse ourselves into Bigfoot and all this. Of course you do.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
We're looking up images and I only used you, and I didn't know YouTube had channels and shows like this and mine and everybody else's. I never used YouTube how to bake a cake, fix a flat, man. I'd used it for music. I had a cool sound system. When I had friends over, we would jam out to 70s rock concerts. That's what I used YouTube for. So I'm going on YouTube. I find all these channels that just did nothing for me. And I'm online looking up all these things. Nothing did it for me. So that was and the people I spoke with, I just didn't get that vibe that they were, worth the 2 cents. Right. And so I just thought I was just being led around.
I have to ask, did you find Fade to Black?
I found Fade to Black, I will say, like 2 years after.
Okay, fine. Moving on. I'm just curious. I've done so many Bigfoot shows, and I'm just wondering if you.
I probably found you, and probably I'll say this happened in 2018. I found you right around 2020, because right around 2020, I started really diving into this stuff. Mm-hmm. I started my channel in 21. So anyway, though, here's the thing. And as I said earlier, Cindy's mom detested me. Cindy did not live with me, and the mom never calls me. So the other date that I brought up earlier was August 15th, 2018. I get a call. Cindy had just left that night as we were up all night doing computer research or whatever. Her mom calls me and says, Rob. I go, yeah, who's this? And I kind of thought it was her mom. Didn't recognize the voice as we rarely spoke. I'm calling you, and she's kind of sobbing. I'm calling to tell you that Cindy passed away late last night.
What?
Cindy passed away late last night.
Wait. What?
Yes, my girlfriend.
What?
Yes.
Oh man. Okay, continue.
Yeah. I
didn't see that coming. Well,
nobody does, Jimmy, and this is kind of how I got involved with all this. So I can't believe it. I'm like, she's perfectly healthy as far as I know, not a drinker, not a smoker, in her early 40s. What? Yeah. And I wanted to tell you, you're not allowed at the funeral. I will make sure you're escorted out if you show up. And I kind of think something went on that weekend, because ever since that weekend, she's been very standoffish and different. So I think you're up to it. And I don't want to see you. Don't come to that funeral. I go to the funeral. I find out where it's at. And sure enough, like her mom said, these two big burly guys escort me. Not allowed here. Jimmy, man, this is how it's all started for me. I went in a deep, dark spot. First of all, I will say this in the beginning. I'm better today. In the beginning, I blame myself. I thought I know she didn't want to go fishing and all this, blah, blah, blah. So I got that guilt thing going. And I had no closure. I don't know how she died.
How did she die?
I guess it was ruled as a heart attack, but that's sketchy. I really Jimmy, it's sketchy, because I'm thinking
my first wife,
yeah,
Kathy, 42. All right.
Yeah.
10, 11, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Heart attack. Died.
Man, see,
crazy, healthy, worked out every day, and heart attack. I still can't believe that phone call. I mean, of all just like what you're saying, right?
Yes.
She was healthy and everything else. Heart attack.
Yeah.
It was like the craziest thing. Anyway, so going back to this, how long after the sighting at Lake Cadillac did she pass?
Well, again, okay, June 15th, 2018, we had the sighting. It was exactly 2 months to date, August 15th of 2018, man.
Right.
So I get the call. I don't know why God, Jim, I can't explain my thought process, but I'm thinking that this creature, whatever the heck it was, had something to do with it. Because I revert back to that sonic boom, it was like a sonic. It was like boom, the reverberation. How I lost cognizance, couldn't see, and was all grainy. Her being little, I'm thinking that maybe it shook her insides up and had something to do with it. And again, I'm a novice to anything about the paranormal and Bigfoot. I didn't know nothing about the subject at all. And then later on in life, maybe infrasound and stuff, which I still don't buy. So I blamed it on this creature, and I have been bitter about this creature ever since. Now I've been doing a show for 4 years, and I've kind of softened my take on the Bigfoot in general, but I blame it on that, and that's kind of how I started the show. Because when this happened to me, I owned my bar. And I went into the bar and I told my manager, hey, bro, I got to take care of some business. Here are the keys. Do me a favor. Drop the money in the bank. Don't rip me off. I know you won't. I've known you 8 years. boss, what's up? I said, you wouldn't believe me if I told you, bro. I got to do some soul searching. I didn't go. I was, and I got in a dark place. I was locked myself in my basement of my first house, man. But online researching, trying to reach out to people to help me. Found nobody. And I finally came across a group of people that suggested that I talk about it as therapy, go on a show or something. So I'm like, I don't know, you guys, YouTube channel, this, that, and the other. So I got a hold of this guy, Wes Germer. I heard him, Sasquatch Chronicles.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had my very first interview with him when I told my story. And he's a nice guy. It was a 40-minute segment that took 5 hours to tape because I started crying because I didn't go back to work for 6 months, man. And then I realized something after I did that. There's got to be a purpose behind this. I don't want Cindy's death to go in vain. So, for everybody out there, Bigfoot Michigan Rob was not my given name by my mom.
It wasn't?
No. I started the channel and it said, well, I saw Bigfoot, I believe. My name is Rob. I live in Michigan. So created my handle in the show. And I do this today because I walked alone, man, in darkness for 6 months. Nobody helped me. And I know there's others out there that have experienced similar stories and they don't want to be heard. And my slogan that I always say on the show is, you're not going to be judged on my show. Tell me your story because we have not been there, much like you were there for mine. And so it's a safe place to come. That's kind of how my persona in the media evolved, is because of this tragedy, bittersweet, this tragedy, man. And that's what the books are about. And I think this is my new calling. I sold my bar in 2020, which I lucked out because COVID hit big time and the poor sap that I sold it to went out of business. Another story. And so
isn't it? Can I jump in?
Yeah. I'm sorry. Go.
No. Isn't it wonderful though? How this community can be once you get into it and navigate it, how supportive it can be, and where you can share your experiences and hear from others and their experiences. Because let's face it, you didn't want to call the police. Why? What are you going to say?
Right.
And it's the same thing with coworkers or friends or whatever. You don't have an avenue for that. But in this community, man, this is a safe space. Let it hang in the breeze, man. Let's go.
I agree with you. And your Fade to Black's a safe space. A lot of my my associates, we have a great group of people. You met some of them. Jason McLean was on. Mm-hmm. We have a tight-knit group of people. We're all like-minded. And I got to tell you, I've known my best friend since 7th grade. And he don't believe a word I say. He don't even watch my shows. But people I've met in the last decade are tighter with me than someone I've known for 40 years.
Yeah,
that says a lot for the community, man.
My parents, my brothers, Rob, they don't give a shit about this shit.
Right,
They don't. My mom, right? So she flies out with my brother and his wife and their son, infant, here. And we're riding around in my and I'm taking them around to Skunk Works and and stuff. They have no clue what they're seeing, and they don't know what Skunk Works is and I turn and I'm looking at she's in the back seat. I'm looking at my mom in the rear view mirror and I'm listening to her comments, and I go, Mom, have you ever seen or heard anything that I've done? This is the look on her face. And I was like, okay, all right. There's no sense in me pursuing this anymore or trying to explain.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's not their world.
No, it's not. And I tell you, the first year and a half or two that I was doing this, starting this media avenue, I used to get mad, Jimmy, because I felt like I was an advocate for the cryptids, or the paranormal for that matter, that these things exist. And it's like talking to a dead wall. You can't convince people. And I said, you know what? I'm done with that. If you don't believe, you don't believe. But the market that we're in, there's hundreds of thousands that do. There's hundreds of thousands or millions, perhaps, I don't know, right, that have come across similar experiences, whether it's cryptids, UFOs, ghosts, because to me, it's all connected anyways. It's all the same thing.
Do you go squatching now?
I do not go squatching.
What? I don't either. I talk a big game. I got a Jeep. I got the back of the Jeep, right?
Well,
I've got a tent. I've got a first aid kit. I've got ropes and chains and tire inflator. I got flashlights and a first aid kit. I got all that stuff. I'm going squatching.
Yeah.
I haven't used it once.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my truck and I'll put my logo painted on it. I've decided that's my next big purchase. But I will tell you this, though. It's not that I'm just, and it's not an excuse. It's just I got so much going on. I just don't want to go out in the woods and look on a daily basis. I got to drive every day 3 hours to get somewhere. But number two, with me personally, Jimmy, and this is just the Bigfoot encounter. I've seen my entire life was based on the paranormal from 5 to 50 years old, right? And I hear enough people and talk to enough people to get their stories. But I will tell you this, at my conference I put on, I did go on a ghost investigation, which was thrilling and very creepy, man. Yes.
Did you have we're gonna head to a break here, Rob.
Yeah.
Is that your only Bigfoot encounter? And I want to go back to the consciousness part of that setting. Was that your only Bigfoot?
That's
encounter?
the only Bigfoot encounter I've ever had, man. Yeah.
Did you see that Duke is in the chat room?
Yeah, Duke's. I haven't been paying attention. Duke's a good guy. Duke set
Duke's
me on
amazing.
a straight and narrow.
Duke is the shit.
Yeah,
Duke is.
He knows more about Bigfoot than I forgot. Yeah, you know the old saying. Yeah, that guy's he's got a fantastic memory. He's solid. He's one of the guys that helped me actually in the very beginning when I was getting a hold of all these creeps. I somehow got a hold of Duke. I seen this guy, Brian Sullivan, but it wasn't him. It was some young guy with a big bass. And I'm like, then I found World Bigfoot Central. Back then it was radio. I reached out to him, and he's one of the few people that told me I wasn't crazy. So I always give props to him. So
yeah, Duke's cool. Yeah, when I would have Duke on the show, this is the thing that I love about Duke. I know Duke is listening, so he can laugh. So I always have a little coffee cup, right? I drink my coffee.
Yeah.
Not Duke. Duke's got that 5-gallon.
Oh
thing. Yeah. So he's like, I love Duke, man.
He's good people.
Duke is amazing. Rob, you stay right there. Let's take our break. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Bigfoot Michigan Rob is with us. What an incredible first hour. We will be right back. Rob, stay right there. Coming back after this short break. I am your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black. Stay with us. Subscribe to our YouTube channel to get your alerts and access to over 2,000 videos. Click that subscribe button right now. Go to jimmychurchradio.com and get the Fade to Black official podcast. 2,000 episodes, all of them commercial free for just $2 a month. Watch Into the Vortex on Gaia TV. It's Fade to Black for the screen. Simple to do. Go to Gaia.com, search Jimmy Church, or click on the link below. Follow Fade to Black on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Get all of the show updates every single day. It's now called X, but who cares? How you doing? Jimmy Church here. Special announcement. Get your Fade to Black t-shirts. That's right. Help support the show. Help support everything that we do over here. We've got 2 t-shirts. We've got 2 ways to get them. Get your Fade to Black t-shirt today. Go Backley Tappy. Go to jimmychurchradio.com and become a Fadernaut. Get a membership. That's right. Everything is commercial free. You have access to downloads, and you get to call yourself a Fadernaut. Jimmy Church, Gaia TV, Fade to Black, here at Machu Picchu with Brian Forster and Hidden Inca Tours. Amazing tour so far, Brian, but we're here to announce what we're going to do next year in 2026. What's going on?
Okay, November 2026, we're going to have our major tour of Peru and Bolivia, either a pre or post tour of Paracas and Nazca on the coast. And then after that, 6 days in Easter Island.
Bucket list, Easter Island. Come join Brian and I and his amazing team here at Hidden Inca Tours for Peru, Bolivia, and Easter Island. Signing out. Say goodbye, Brian.
Bye, gang.
River Moon Coffee, makers of the Fade to Black blend. Truly the best coffee on planet Earth. Just visit rivermoonwellness.com or their Amazon store. It's all simple to do. You can check out the Fade to Black blend, the Game Changer blend, or any of their Black Moon Wellness products. It's the only coffee I drink. It is the best, and it's Doc. Again, rivermoonwellness.com. All right. Welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, BMR is here. Bigfoot Michigan Rob. It's all Bigfoot all the time tonight. No, that's not true. No. I just told a big fib. Pinocchio'd. We're going to do UFOs and Dogman and some other stuff as well. Check this out. Rob.
Yes.
I go to Peru a lot. Right. I'll be there twice again next year. We're in October now. So coming up very soon, two more trips. And I go a couple times a year. It's amazing. And trip on this. We have Bigfoot sightings in every state in the United States. And, Canada, we have Yeti and it just goes on and on and on. So in Peru, and I do this all the time. I'm with the locals, everybody that high in the Andes Mountains, and you look very remote areas, and I'll go, hey, so Bigfoot? Nope. Really? Nope. Are you sure? Really strange. They have got all kinds of stories and cryptids and UFOs and spirits and ancient history. You've got all of that, and they're very open about it. Okay. Right? We have the elongated skulls and everything, right? No Bigfoot in Peru. Yeah, it's strange. You have the Andes, right? 20,000 foot, majestic, the biggest. No Bigfoot stories. Yeah. I can't figure that one out.
You would think that there would be all sorts, and
Yeah.
considering that location, it's funny, maybe not so funny that you mentioned that. You get everything else, though. I think
Everything happens in Peru, and it's and it's just the way it is. It's the culture. They have a very spiritual, grounded history that is there, and everything is open to discussion. Everything except Bigfoot. It's crazy. It's crazy. About my shaman down there, his name is Wilco.
okay.
Indigenous and ancient history, and speaks the ancient Quechua language and all of that, right? This guy is badass. And so he looks at me straight in my eyes and goes, okay, man, I'm going to take you to the secret spot on this mountain where me and my shamans, we call in the craft and they land and we communicate with ET. It's secret and you're going to love it. This is an open you know what I mean? This is no Bigfoot though. Got no Bigfoot. Strange.
It is strange. I had Ron Moorhead was on my show last year, and we got on the subject of Bigfoot, and he went to Peru. He's gone to Peru several times, and he keeps coming back with UFO experiences that he's seen. And another thing, though, which I find intriguing, is a lot of encounters with the little people.
Mm-hmm. All over the country. They've got everything there. I love Ron Moorhead, by the way.
Yeah.
That guy, man, he's incredible. But yeah, no Bigfoot. No Bigfoot.
A quick story about Ron. The very first time I had him on, he told me, Rob, 30 years ago, if you would have came up to me and said that you thought that Bigfoot was part of the paranormal element, I just said, young man, turn around and go home. I'm not interested. Throughout the years, he's really developed and he's expanded. And the last time I had him on, he thinks that there is an alien association with these things. He does not rule out that perhaps they came from aliens, perhaps that they've even been dropped here by advanced civilizations, which I found to be fantastic. And what I love about Ron is that he has broadened his scope and his way of thinking, because there's a lot of these guys, Jimmy, they're either flesh and blood or I don't want to talk to you. I was sandwiched in between these two guys, not to mention your name, and we were going to this conference, both flesh and blood guys, staunch flesh and blood guys, and I'm sandwiched between these guys. I was with my buddy who took a wrong turn and took us 45 minutes out of the conference area. So I'm talking to these guys, and we're talking some Bigfoot. Then I mentioned the paranormal element. Do you know that they gave me a cold shoulder, and it got very uncomfortable for the last 20 minutes because they wanted nothing to do with it.
Yeah. That line in the sand,
has
always been there. And the Bigfoot I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. So the flesh and blood, undiscovered species, avoiding human contact, there's a lot to be said about that, right? And they're so protective about their research and how they do it, that you bring in the woo-woo and you bring in, the interdimensional, Bigfoot, ET, and you start to have this is not how they want their research presented. So I understand that, but what they can't deny, and it's out there. So I think maybe the communities are somewhat, the UFO community loves the Bigfoot community. They love Bigfoot. We're okay with all of it. It's not so much on the other side, but the amount of Bigfoot sightings, and then you go and look, and UFO sightings on the same day in the same location, that's not a coincidence. And that is something that has to be explored. You have to have an open mind for this. Not everybody has all the answers, and maybe not anyone at this point, right? We have the sightings, but we don't have anything concrete from either side. Lots of evidence, lots of sightings, lots of video, lots of photographs. We have imprints of craft that when they land, we've got that. We have Bigfoot prints that are left behind. You know what I mean? We have a lot of the same evidence presented. So I don't, and then we have Chewbacca. I don't think Chewbacca is a coincidence, man. I just don't.
You know, hey man, Chewbacca, when you talk about, let's say, Star Wars in general, you know damn well that that entire premise was built on experiencers, because a lot of the things that were in that movie way back when it was open, people are experiencing that today. And I wonder, where do these guys get this from? I got to tell you, a lot of the movies you look back, especially in the older movies, 70s and the 80s, a lot of the things that are in these movies is something that people have now here in the 90s, the 2000s have actually witnessed. You follow me with that? So
I do.
Yeah, it's just been, I tell you what, as time goes on, things come out, as people, I think, are a little more open to talking about Bigfoot, UFOs, aliens. I think today it's not as hush-hush, although there's thousands of people that have had these experiences. But again, don't want to be judged. They don't want to be ridiculed. I mean, you might, let's say you have a website, there's 1,000 experiences with whatever. You know damn well there's another 10,000 that have not been reported or brought to the forefront. I believe that.
Yeah, for sure. And here, up in Northern California, yeah, it's Bigfoot Central, man. That is where it's at the Patterson film and everything. Up there, the Bigfoot community, and I've done this. Okay, I was at, you know what board games are, right? Like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that. Okay, so I don't do that, but I was present at like an all-night Dungeons and Dragons thing, and so that's going on, and I get introduced to everybody about my career and what I'm doing, and everybody there had a Bigfoot story. None of them had heard of Roswell.
Oh, wow.
Okay. You follow me?
Yeah.
Zero interest in UFOs. None. Don't know anything about it. Nothing. And I get that. You know, totally okay and open about Bigfoot. Everybody's got a story. Everybody's got a sighting. Everybody's got a t-shirt, and it's a way of life. Totally understand that and respect it. The UFO stuff and the other things that we deal with in this community, no, they don't know anything about it. And that's where it's at with the Bigfoot world. There's a line in the sand.
Yep.
We do Bigfoot, you do you. That's the way it is.
Yeah, and that's just too bad, because I just think that all these things are somehow related. I think it's a shame that it's just, okay. I mean, to me, it blows my mind that you can believe in Bigfoot, you can believe in UFOs or aliens, but you don't believe in both. I don't get it, right? Because they're both two things that are not supposed to exist, yet you take these stances. And to me, again, more closed-minded people, which is, we need more people that explore and look into all of the avenues. Because as you made mention, I've gotten stories about orbs floating about in the forest, and then a mile up the road, there was a Bigfoot sighting, you know, right? Or
Bigfoot stepping out of vortexes.
Yeah, you know, or coming out of a portal.
Yeah, out of a portal. Yeah.
Yeah, vortex. Yeah, same. Yeah, so And it goes on. I fielded many of these stories, a lot of them in the books and such, and the people I've had on the shows, they talk about everything. And to me, it's not a coincidence that if you've got, it's all about data, because I'm very big on data, and I keep track. I put things down. I put it in my computer. How many times that these things have been correlated together? Well, I seen this come from the sky, then all of a sudden I had this Dogman appear, the next day, or the Bigfoot. It's just, to me, I don't know that they're not the same, but I think that they travel amongst the same plane. I think they come across from different realms, if you will.
I mean, it could be both.
Yeah,
it could be both. I have seen a video.
Mm-hmm.
I think we used it on my TV show Into the Vortex. I haven't gone back and I haven't watched any of my episodes, but we certainly had it. But that's where I saw it. This video, these guys are walking up this trail, and I believe it was in Northern California. Location doesn't matter. And they've got a video camera running straight ahead and another like GoPro mounted on this guy's backpack pointing backwards behind him. Okay. So they're going up the trail. Later, they were looking at the footage. They didn't see anything.
Mm-hmm.
They felt something. But anyway, so they're looking at their footage. The camera pointing backwards on all that I love on the side of the trail, it goes fuzzy into a swirl. And out steps this black entity, Bigfoot thing. And it's only for an instant and goes across the trail. They didn't see it. Now, for all of those Bigfoot flesh and blood guys, what is that? So now is it something that some Bigfoot are interdimensional? Traveling between realities and dimensions? Could be. I think there's a lot of evidence for that. And then we have the flesh and blood species that are existing at the same time. I think that that's okay. That we could be talking about multiple versions of Bigfoot. And I think that we should look into all of it and not dismiss something because it doesn't fit your cognitive dissonance, and you don't want to stray out there.
I agree 100%. And I've got, if you don't mind, I had this guy on last year, and that's what we're talking about right now. This subject matter is a combination of all that. In fact, this guy was on the show and it actually made it into one of the books. And I can share this briefly with you. This took place in like Appalachia, somewhere out in Appalachia. You know how vast that is.
Mm-hmm.
This man, he has been hunting and camping in this same area for 20 years or more, he's telling me. And he says, Rob, I know everything in this area like the back of my hand. I'm like, okay. One day, he got up in the morning. He went off to his favorite spot to camp and fish. There was a river that he could pull these, trout out of. He loved going there. Goes there all the time, 20 years. It's a river. Runs along his campsite in the woods. And he says, Rob, one morning, I decided to pack up and go for the weekend. Gets out there. He sets up camp. He says, Rob, so I get up, I go down the river, do my fishing, nothing's going on. So I decided to go up the trail, just go for a hike. He says now that he's walking down this trail, and then he noticed that at the end of this trail, 100 yards into walking the trail, he notices another path on the trail. And he says, Rob, this was something that I was kind of like, that's interesting. I don't recall this in all 20 years. And it was kind of a nice open trail. So he ventures down the trail. He's walking through the trail. He says he's maybe 20, no more than 20 or 30 yards. Then he said, all of a sudden, the terrain just changed on him. If there were pine trees, they were now oak trees. If it was green grass, it was bluegrass. It was just different. And then he notices that he cannot hear the sound of the river or the stream in the background. He's getting a little scared. He goes to his compass. I guess he had a handheld unit, and it was spinning madly all over the place. It was just out of whack. And he goes to turn around to get back off the trail. Then he realized that it's cut off. And now he's lost. He says, I don't know where I'm at. The trail ends, and I'm in the middle of this unfamiliar ground. Rob, for the first time in my life, he says, I am petrified. I cannot believe what's happening to me. He goes on to explain to me that he was never big on the paranormal or the Bigfoot thing. He was just a guy that loved the woods. Didn't pay much attention. He sits down. He finds his stump. He sits down on this stump in unfamiliar ground settings. And he's trying to get his thoughts collected. He goes, I got to get out of here. I'm totally lost. 20 years and I'm lost. Unbelievable. Over his shoulder, he looks and he sees this massive shadow appear. He says, Rob, I can't tell you exactly what it was, but it was very big. It was very dark. It was kind of like a shadow. And he says, I could almost see through it to the other side of the woods. But it was big. It had a human shape. And he's looking at it. Now he's really getting scared. Then he says it just kind of vanishes. Then he looks to these trees. He says these trees had big, robust stumps, tall trees, much bigger, much different than what he's used to. Again, this whole environment, the terrain is different. He's looking at one of these trees. He says, Rob, I kid you not. The base of these trees, one of them formed a face in the bark, pronounced face, and it kind of emanated from this tree stump. And he says it was kind of human looking, but strange and odd. Again, he's now petrified. He looks to the next tree a few feet down, and another face appears. Then he says, Rob, something in my brain, my mind, he says, I don't want to get into the telepathy thing or the mind speak thing, but something in my head said, follow the faces.
Oh, wow.
So this guy, he thinks he's dreaming. He knows he's not dreaming, right? So he says, well, I'm lost. Don't know where I'm at. I don't know why I'm getting this message inside my head. And he begins to follow, and he starts following the tree line. And yes, these faces would appear, so we follow the faces. He says he's maybe 50 yards in, and again, that big, ominous humanoid figure emerges. Can't make out what it is. It's very big, the biggest thing he's ever seen. And again, he gets this message, continue on, and this thing kind of just dissolves into the tree line. He continues on. And then all of a sudden, the faces stop. The terrain still looks unfamiliar, but he forges forward. Then all of a sudden, he hears what? The familiar sound of the river. He continues to walk. His heart's palpitating, like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm getting out of here. And then all of a sudden, the unfamiliar trees, the fauna in the woods, everything got back to what he was familiar with. And he keeps following. Then he sees the river in the background, follows around the bend, gets back to his camp. He goes, when I get back to my camp, I'm so relieved. I still can't figure out what went down. But then he looks over his tent into the tree line. And he says, there is this big figure standing there. He goes, wow. Rob, I'm not this Bigfoot guy, but I swear that's what it had to have been, but not in physical form, but in a spiritual form. And he says he got one last message. The elementals of the forest helped you. Wow. And when he told me this story, man, I'm like, it kind of has a lot of all the elements. Did this guy slip through a portal, Jimmy? Was this a spiritual Bigfoot? What about these figures in the trees? You know, I mean, I think this is a guy that totally lucked out. My first belief is he slipped into another dimension or portal, if you will.
The history, the folklore, the mythology that has been repeated from generation to generation with experiences just like this, just like this. And nature. Okay. All right. This is what, Rob, you know this. I ride a Harley.
Right.
I listen to Pantera. Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
That's me. I'm a hardcore dude. But nature and this planet and everything else, humans are just visiting. You know what I mean? We're just guests here.
Yeah.
It has been existing in its own way forever, for a few billion years. And there's things that we just don't understand. We've only been here for a little instant, and so when these experiences happen, and it's been talked about so much, I don't dismiss any of it. I don't. I've had my own crazy experiences in the woods. And I've been lost in the woods when I know, that I know that I wandered 200 yards from my car, okay, with friends, and didn't get back to my car for 8 hours.
Yeah, right, man.
Right. Lost.
Yeah.
And you know what, though? You see your car, you're coming out of the woods, you kiss the ground.
Yeah, right.
Because it's panic time. It's panic time. Nothing makes sense anymore. Directions don't make any sense. Everything is just backwards. And so, yeah. How did we get back to our car? Guidance. We were walking in circles for hours. And when people talk about this, getting lost in the woods, I don't laugh or get cavalier when I say things like, man, if you're the last person in the group, tie a string.
Oh,
Don't ever get out of sight from the group.
Oh no, yes,
you know what I'm saying?
You cannot, and you never walk single file. You walk a couple people abreast. This guy was telling me this story. They went on this Bigfoot expedition in that state I hate to mention, Ohio. And so it was a guide, a park ranger, and he took these people out looking for Bigfoot, right? So there was a group of about 8 of them, and they're down the path doing their thing, the first day, whatever, they didn't have any no sightings, no evidence. They go back, start up the next morning. And he's telling me, hey man, we were walking this single file row, 8 of us and the guy ahead and the guy in the back. He says, the guy in the back, he goes, very flamboyant guy. He was wearing the Joker's t-shirt and his girlfriend, Harley, what's her name? Who runs with the Joker in the Marvel series, whatever, his girlfriend.
Okay.
Very flamboyant guy, very loud shirt. They're down this path, single file, led by the leaders of the group. He says, Rob, man, he goes, jumping in front of the middle of the trail is this creature, and it looked like a wolf.
Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn, thank you. Yes, I always forget that name. Harley Quinn in the Joker t-shirt. Very flamboyant outfit this guy has on. And very outspoken. Very gregarious. He's the last guy in the line. And so this creature that looked like an oversized big wolf jumps out in the pathway, standing on 2 legs, looks at this group, disappears into the tree line. And everybody's like panicking and freaking out. What was that? What was that? That was no Bigfoot, right? So they do a head count. Everybody gets together. The guy at the end of the line, flamboyant dressed guy, is missing.
Right.
Man, he's gone. Where is this guy? So they put out a search party for this dude for a couple of days, man. He doesn't turn up. But check this out. A week later, several miles up from this location where the guy was last seen and where that creature jumped on the trail, about 3 miles up by a river on a rock is his tennis shoes.
Right.
Blue jeans and a folded t-shirt that he was sporting, man.
Yes.
You know?
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah, what is that?
Yeah. I remember that story.
Okay.
Absolutely incredible. His clothes are folded. And let me ask you this.
Yeah.
The paranormal side of this is one thing, but yet we have the Patterson film.
Yeah.
And if the UFO community, if the ghost community, right, had the Patterson film, it would be case closed. That film is that good, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible. But the UFO community doesn't have that definitive shot. And Ghost Adventures and Zach, and they don't have that close. There's interesting stuff, but the Patterson film is absolutely incredible. So not to discuss Patterson, we can if you want, of course.
Yeah.
But is there another video or photograph of Bigfoot that has caught your attention?
I'll be honest with you. Very few and far between. Not like when I see Patterson Gimlin, I think, yep, that is 100% a real film. I've seen things that perhaps could be Bigfoot or a cryptid, but my thing is this, it's a lot of times it's that, I hate this term, is that blob squatch type thing. I've never seen anything quite definitive like that. I mean, MK Davis does a great breakdown on that film with the enhancements, and you see a face, you see breasts, you see the sinew of the muscle. Mm-hmm. When he's walking, you see that's not a man in a suit. Nothing close to that. I've seen images that, yes, perhaps could be, but I'm still, and listen, I'm open to everybody, what they send me or what I see on YouTube or on the internet. Nothing has really grabbed me, though. I will tell you that I saw this one photo of a Bigfoot that looked totally real. Then I found out it was a hoax. It is kind of, when I review images or videos, I'm not a skeptical guy in a sense that I don't believe anything when you show me a video. It's hard for me to just say, yeah, because Patterson Gimlin set the standard.
Oh yeah, totally. Totally.
And
well, and the other part, here's the thing for me with Patterson Gimlin. It's when it was shot. So for people that say it's a dude in a costume, right? I say not so fast, because if you go to the best of the best that Hollywood had to offer on planet Earth, in the known universe up to that time, there were two things that were shot: Planet of the Apes,
yep,
and 2001: A Space Odyssey. And as great of a director as Stanley Kubrick is, who's a perfectionist, those ape scenes were crap. And they were there to tell a story, but he did his best. Man, he had the best mime actors, in these and he wanted to be as realistic as possible, but it was still crap. And Planet of the Apes, the best makeup, the best thing that Hollywood had at that time. Yes. And let's face it, Planet of the Apes, Charlton Heston, one of the greatest films ever made.
Yes.
The apes were crap.
Yep.
All right. And you take that at the same time, you look at the Patterson Gimlin film, that's not a costume.
No, man. It's almost laughable.
Yeah,
it's laughable.
Yeah. And that's my take. I just go with my eyes and my instinct. And when you look at the way that my eyes and my brain are processing that film and what I'm looking at, I'm not looking at a human. I'm not looking at a human walking. I'm not looking at a human trying to imitate something. I'm not seeing any of that. I'm seeing what it is. I'm seeing Bigfoot, and that's okay. I've never felt, and looking at that. Okay, I'll say this, and I want your comment. You make a really good point. When I look at stuff, I go on this is bullshit first. I wait to be convinced, is there something else here first? But I start on that side of the fence. I don't start with, oh man, Bigfoot, okay, and then get convinced that it's fake. No, I start off way on the other side, that this is bullshit. Now let's see what we've got. All right, that's the way that, and Gimlin is the same thing. The Patterson Gimlin film is the same thing. I started off there. And it has stood up over these years. And that's my take. Isn't that the right approach, to go with the extreme and then come into reality?
I think so. Whenever I look at something, my first thing is to try just to debunk it in every avenue possible. Try to look for, shadows, fades, camera angles, things that the average eye is not going to see. I'm used to doing this for a while now. And I think that, I take it the same way you do. I take that approach, think that it's BS, and then try to debunk it. But also, though, being an open-minded person, because, it is what it is, I try to look for that piece of evidence in a film or a video that, where I could maybe say, wow, that looks kind of real, and try to break it down. But the problem is, and I'm bad at this, and I've got to change my mindset on this. Hundreds of things I've looked at. It's just like, what am I even looking at? Now the advent of AI. Not going to go down that road today, but, even myself, the many things that I've seen in the paranormal side, I've tried to debunk myself before saying, hey, you know what, Rob? Yeah, that's what you saw.
What about?
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's total sense. And don't change with that. What about? Let me ask you this. I'm going to go back to your sighting in Cadillac.
Yeah,
Duke presents a pretty solid case for telepathy and speaking and communicating with Bigfoot. When you had your sighting, I know the scream was there, the howl, but was there anything else that you felt between the two of you?
Did not feel a thing between us on the telepathy side, but now that you bring it up, I've got to tell you, I throughout trying to figure out the mystery behind my experience, I've been everywhere. I've even got in touch with psychic meeting. I've done everything, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got to say this, and I'm not, hey, listen, yes, I will preface it by saying there are incredible psychic mediums out there, and there are want to make $1 psychic mediums. I think we all could agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, now you heard the Bigfoot story. I had a show. I had Robin McCrae on my show. You should look her up. Fabulous. She can perform she says, the mind speaking of telecommunication. She's been doing this for 20, 30 years, and she's actually a friend of mine. with not only Dogman, Bigfoot, but Dogman and extraterrestrials. But I'm still always leery, my man. I'm just kind of like, oh, I will tell you that I'm convinced in this woman and that people can perform this because she was on my show and we were talking about something unrelated to me and the Bigfoot. It was about Dogman or something. And then we're an hour into my show and Robin says to me, oh, Rob, by the way, Delano has been trying to communicate with you. I'm like, who the hell's Delano? Talking about the GMC Jeep? We're talking about, Alaska? No, Delano, that's the name of your Bigfoot that you came across. Dude, this is out of the blue on my show. She just says this mid-show. I'm sitting there. I'm like, okay, can you, elaborate a little bit for me? Because now that the show is off the charts, it's off the rails. And I'm like, what? You heard my story that I told. I never mentioned ever about a red barn. Never. It's not significant to the story. It means nothing to me. Just like the park that was a mile up on the side of the shore. Don't mention that. Don't mention the dilapidated house or whatever. There was a red barn. And she says to me on my show, he's been trying to communicate with you, but you've been shutting him down. You won't let him in. I go, Delano, the name of my Bigfoot. Yes, she says. So everybody that's heard my story can kind of contrive it and make me feel like, wow, this, that, and the other. But she says, yes, he came from a portal from around the right side of the red barn. Never in my life, Jimmy, I swear on this, I've never once mentioned the red barn. So she supposedly, and I believe it now, really, that she was communicating with the creature, the Bigfoot that's trying to get with me. And she says to me on the show, tell me he meant me no harm. He's sorry for Cindy. And I was invading an area where his children were fishing along the shoreline.
Wow.
Dude,
how do you unpack that? What do you do with it?
I replayed that show. I don't watch my shows either. I literally kind of fell out of my chair, man. And I'm like, wow, really? The red barn, really, and unpacking it.
Yeah.
I'm a loss for words still.
What do you feel that that all of this is a fundamental engaged foundation, that all of this crazy stuff that we deal with in this community is just all related? Ghosts, the paranormal, UFOs, Bigfoot, cryptids, entities, beings that once we unravel one thing, then we'll understand the rest of it.
I think that's absolutely spot on. I think it's all related. When I was growing up, man, I told you about the UFO thing, but I've had so many things. I saw a ghost when I was 5 or 6 years old. It seemed to follow me to my marital home when I got married. I saw it at 6 or 7 for a couple times.
Watch the tapping.
Sorry, yeah, thank you.
Know what I do? You know how I avoid the tapping?
Yeah.
During the show, my hands are on my armrest.
That's why I put them just now. Thanks.
Yeah. And I got there. Because if I do this, if I put my hand here, right? I so no, my hands go on my armrest, and they don't touch my desk. So I'll send you a bill for that later.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay.
Broadcasting 101.
But
yeah, go ahead.
So I seen that, and I encountered some shadow people when I was married along the road. But I got to tell you, I think everything with me personally, I think that for whatever the reason, and I do believe this, I think that once you have an encounter, an experience of something, you're more apt and more open to other things. Do I think everything is related? And I think throughout the course of my life, everything that's happened to me in this sequential order led to what happened to me. And, you ever get that? I got to tell you this story. We all have intuition, and I think we all can tap into it and enhance that. I do believe that. Most of us don't bother, the pineal gland or pineal gland, whatever, all these things. We've all been in Walmart or your local grocery store and felt eyes on your back. You feel someone's watching you, and you turn around, and yeah, in fact, they were. But we blow that off, right? It's minuscule. It's something we forget the next day. I've always had this ability to sum up people in under 3 minutes. I can tell you your intentions if you're a good or bad person. I owned a bar for 13 years. Never once did I read a resume or an application. Come into the office, I'm going to interview you. And within 1 minute, I know if they'd work or not.
Right.
I used their resume and said, hire this guy. Never worked out. And this for me started at a very young age. And a quick story. Again, back 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, man.
Oh, wait. Before we run out of time,
oh wow.
I'm going to flash this up on the screen. Hold on.
Okay.
We'll come back to that.
Okay.
This is from Duke. He says BMR went after a werewolf with a machete when he was a kid.
I did.
What? Wait.
I did, yeah. Okay, man. Duke, of course, Duke, remember, he loves that story.
Duke. Duke thinks he's hosting this episode, by the way.
Yeah, well, Duke, he told me he hosted one of your shows for about 15 minutes, by the way, like a couple years ago.
Yeah, it probably happened.
Yeah, we were like 10, 11 years old, and we're my friends, my mom and dad took me and my brother to our friend's house. So my dad and his buddy decided to play a prank on us. And yes, I did have, and they lived in the woods, and we had machetes on us, and we were like, chopping down the brush and just, making getting through the trails. Again, just having kids fun, right? So we're getting back to the house. And so my dad and his buddy Mickey, they decided to play a prank. So my dad, when we get there, says, hey, you guys, I'm glad you're back. I think me and Mickey saw a werewolf in the woods. We were about to rescue you guys, And us kids were like, what the hell are you talking about? Werewolf in the woods, man. So they played it so perfectly. His buddy Mickey is dressed in full werewolf garb, hiding in back of this big tree. And as we're walking by it, he jumps out in front of us. And this nighttime, man, so it looked like legitimate, we're kids, and takes off after my brother, stops, takes off after me, and I got the machete, and I hack at this thing, not knowing, and I hit him right in the chest, but he had a covering on, like with hair, and he had some coats beneath it to make him look big, and I smacked him. And it penetrated, man. And then he goes, Robbie. My dad goes, Robbie, stop. And Mickey takes off the mask, and it's him. He goes, Jesus H, man, you could have killed me. Well, hell, I thought you were going to kill me. I thought you were a monster, man. And yeah, true story. I told Duke that a couple years ago. It's one of his, that happened. That was so hilarious.
I just have to leave that right there.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Because here's the lesson from that. It got you onto this show, right? It's part of life's journey, right?
Yeah.
Where you are right now in your journey is right now in the now. All right. But that's the reason why, if you look back, is nothing bad happened.
Yeah, right.
Right. If something bad happened, then you're not on this show. Right.
Absolutely.
You understand what I mean?
I get exactly what you mean.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be sitting in the back of a mic doing my own thing, coming on here and everywhere else if the cards were dealt differently, man. And I must tell you, I'm as happy as I've ever been in a long time doing what I'm doing. I love this.
When you find your bliss, you You glow from the inside out, and
Yeah.
people see that, and
Oh,
people
yeah.
resonate with it. Oh, maybe this got away from me earlier.
Yeah.
But I meant to ask you about. Maybe you said it and I missed it. Back at Cadillac at Mitchell, how did you see Bigfoot walk away or run? What was the ending of that?
No, well, what happened was exactly this. Saw him standing there, manifest into that other creature. The jaw drops, the scream, yell, roar, all in unison. Right thrust upon us. She falls off the boat. I'm looking at it, and then when she falls in the water, I can hear her kind of yell out, and I know she's now in the water. So when I tried to turn to the right and couldn't move, I'm like this, looking between it as it's still roaring and her. And then I kind of like shut my eyes and kind of start shaking my head to get my cognizance back then I got it back. I didn't worry about the shoreline. I wanted to get her in the boat and get the hell out of there. And she was already kind of halfway getting up, got her in. Then when I looked to the shoreline is when I was most scared, despite everything that happened, because it's gone. Don't know where it's at.
Okay, so you didn't see
I didn't see it saunter off or anything.
Danny says, we'll wrap the show with this because
okay, man.
I like Danny. You know Danny. Danny says, the ghost in the bar story is better.
Well, you know what, Danny? I got to tell you, Jimmy, if you ever have me back on, we'll do. It's too long. I can't do it today. I owned a bar for 13 years, and it was haunted. And I saw 4 apparitions at the end of my bar that were from the bootlegging era. How do I know this? I researched it, and my bar was built and served as a speakeasy during that time period, man. That's a fast. My Bigfoot encounter, I can't put it number 1, Jimmy, because of the loss of Cindy. Probably Danny might be right. My ghost experience, it's going to eke it out because it ended well.
Okay, what happened? What happened?
Long story. I'll give you the Reader's Digest version.
We have 8 minutes.
Okay. So I'm in my bar working late one night, and I'm closing up 3 a.m. And my employees and we always experience weird things. Like we would clean up. The number one thing you got to do at the end of the shift before closing, get the beer bottles, the glasses off the tables, wipe everything down, wipe the bar. I want everything put away for start of business the next day. That was the number one priority, and we all did it, and we all were very good at it. They did that. But there will be instances, man, where the office was in the basement of this place. And a lot of times the employees would come up and there would be glassware all over these tables, man. And they swear they put everything away. So they were telling me these stories. I'm like, man, I've never really experienced that. So I was working for about a full week. A couple people on vacation. So I worked the entire week, 24/7, basically. Again, the office is in the basement. I clear up everything. I go in the basement, doing the paperwork, and I hear these sounds like people are talking up in the bar. It's after 3 o'clock in the morning, and I go up the stairs, and at the end of the stairs, off to the left is I had 2 bars in my bar, a square one, and then off to the left, a much longer one, right? And I'm walking up the stairs, and I look out to the area where I thought maybe the voices were coming from. There's nothing there. I'm like, whatever. Go back down again into the office, doing my paperwork, and now I hear it again. I get up. There's nothing there, Jimmy. And so what I do now is I go check the bathrooms, because if you miss checking a bathroom in the bar business, you might see someone passed out in there.
Sure.
Nobody's in there. So that's the second time. Go back. Third time, I go up, hear the noises again, and I get to the top of the stairs, and at the far corner of the bar on a 90, there's 2 women and 2 men. The men have their backs to me, and the women I could see their faces. They look like flappers. From the waist up, they had like the frilly headband. They had like a sparkling a frilly dress on. The two men from the backside had pinstripe suits and fedoras. But the crazy thing was they weren't physical. I could see clear through them to the other side of the bar. I'm like, whoa, this is creepy. But I'm excited because by this time, man, I've seen everything in my life.
Yeah, that's
Bigfoot.
pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
I've seen everything. I'm not scared. I'm kind of, wow, into this. Because at this juncture in my life, I've seen it all, right? Paranormal wise and the Bigfoot. So I'm watching, I'm trying to figure out what they're saying, and they're kind of kibitzing. And then I noticed at the corner of the bar, man, there was a fifth of Jack Daniels and 2 shot glasses. And in front of the women, there's 2 wine glasses and a bottle of wine. And I can see remnants in the wine glass from my vantage point. And I can see whiskey in one of the shot glasses. So now I'm creeping closer, and they're paying no attention to me, nothing. So I'm getting closer, man. And then I go to the end of the rail of the bar. We call it the rail. They're at one end of the rail. I'm at the other. And I'm looking like this. They're ignoring me. And you know what I did? I took my fist and I smacked it on top of the bar rail. All of a sudden, they quit talking. And the 2 dudes, they look at me. The women are flapping. They're flappers. They're just blah, 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 blah. The 2 guys look at me. I'm like, oh, now I got there. Okay. And I'm digging this, man. I don't know why I'm not scared. I'm digging it. The shot glass. Now, shot glasses in the bar business, you can't break them. I mean, they fall off the bar. They typically don't break.
They bounce. They bounce.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the top of my bar was made of kind of a softer wood, which was a mistake on my part. But who cares? It was just a softer wood. And dude, the apparition takes that ghostly hand, wraps it around the shot glass, and it elevates, man, like 12 inches. And it's in the ghost.
Holy
hand.
shit.
And then it slips out of its hand, hits the top of the bar, and it shatters in a million pieces, man.
Really?
That does not happen. To shatter that type of industry glass, you got to take it and whip it at cement, and you might not. And this thing shattered. And I'm looking at these apparitions, and they're looking at me. I'm like, you got my attention, folks. And they slowly dissipated. And as they dissipated, they took on like a skeletal form and just kind of faded away. So I'm like, whoa. I go down to the end of the bar, I take my fingers. It's whiskey. I taste it. It's whiskey. The glass is glass. The whiskey bottle, it was back in the day. It had the, you know how a lot of whiskey bottles have the ribbon, the paper ribbon, and it was totally undone, brand new bottle. And the crazy thing is my inventory, I faced all the shelves. For everybody don't know, you pull everything forward. This bottle was taken from the back of another bottle. So it physically was reached from behind. And yeah, that was the ghost encounter at my bar. And I kid you not, to this day, I'm taking that one with me because that was the most fascinating and bizarre thing, man. And I did some other back looking, and yes, it was a prohibition, a speakeasy, a lot of history there, a lot of things happened there, you know, life and death situations, shootouts. Oh, it was just, man, I gotta tell you, I love that story. Thanks, Danny, for bringing that up. Yeah, man, it was fascinating to say the least.
Wow, that's amazing. People ask, we have to wrap the show.
Okay.
We're at the end, but when people go, well, man, how come we don't have ghosts of dinosaurs or cavemen? I go, man, we got Bigfoot.
Right, yeah.
Maybe Bigfoot is a ghost of Neanderthal or the ghost of giant apes from Africa. I don't know.
Yeah,
but
man.
You know what I'm saying? I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that too. I think that's, I don't know, that's a different avenue. I don't know. I'm okay with it. I don't know, have the answers why we don't see a T-Rex, you know, invisible, or a when you can see through an apparition of a T-Rex running through the woods. Never get those reports. That'd be fascinating if someone told you about
Got the Loch Ness Monster.
Yeah.
We got sea monsters.
We got sea monsters here.
Lots of pterodactyl sightings. Yes. Are those ghosts? Is it interdimensional? Is it a time slip? Mm-hmm. And we got Godzilla. So
we always got Godzilla.
Hey, Rob, fantastic show, my friend. Where can everybody? I know your YouTube channel. We have the links for that below. How often do you do a new episode?
I do 3 live shows. My show, it's simply called Bigfoot Michigan Rob on YouTube. I'm on Tuesday nights at 9:00. I am on Thursday afternoons at 1:00 and Saturday nights at 11 p.m. 3 live shows. Typically Tuesday is guest driven, and then Thursday it's brunch with Bigfoot Rob. Me and Monica, we just break down and talk about stories that we've gotten and discuss them. And Saturday night I'm with 3 other gals who are fantastic, and we do bizarre news. What I do is I get all the bizarre news from the week, break it down, tell the story, read the clip, and we discuss about it. So it's a variety of interaction with experiencers, researchers, and a lot of our own personal thought and insight. And it's a lot of fun, something different for everybody, 3 nights a week. And I'm really proud of it. It's my 4th year.
Yeah, on, man.
Yeah, and of course, my 2 books, Bigfoot Michigan Rob on Amazon. Type my name and they'll both pull up.
Yeah, we've got all the information for that and the links over on the site and stuff. So again, just thank you. Finally, we got you on the show.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it.
You've been hanging out for a long time with the Fadernauts and our little group here, but congratulations on the success and keep doing what you're doing, man. And man, have me. I would love to come on your show and we can turn
excellent. I'm going to have
flip it around.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'd appreciate having you on. That'd be sweet. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it'll be
Thanks
fun.
for having me on, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Reach out to Michelle. She'll make it happen. All right.
Okay. Very good.
Rob, enjoy the rest of your night, man. Thank you so much.
You too, man. Thank you. All right.
Perfect night. Bigfoot Michigan Rob, BMR. Thank you so much, sir. Perfect night on the show. Wow. Just absolutely amazing. Bigfoot Michigan Rob. I do want to remind everybody, links for Rob are below on our website and throughout social media. I do want to mention really quick, tomorrow night, Adam Apollo is here. And tomorrow night, we're just going to have one of those galactic ET conversations, contact, messages, what is going on, and the future of all of us. And certainly around disclosure, too, as well. He's got a lot of things that he is doing. And tomorrow night, we're going to discuss all of them. Tomorrow night, Adam Apollo. So until tomorrow night, which is my Friday, I'm your host, Jimmy Church, and all I've got is Go Backly Teppy. Fade to Black is produced by Hilton J. Palm, Renee Newman, and Michelle Freed. Special thanks to Bill, John, Dex, Jessica, Dennis, and Kevin. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music by Doug Aldrich. Intro, Space Boy. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2024 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network, Inc. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Go Backly Tappy.